Welcome to day 4 of 4 powerful days with 4 incredible business mentors. Today, our guest speaker is Joel Mandelbaum, a strategic technology consultant, talking to us about gaining trust online in a socially distanced world. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 4 of 4 powerful days with 4 incredible business mentors. I know that we have more people yet to pop in, and we'll just start the show and get today's event on the go. Today's guest speaker is Joel Mandelbaum. He is a strategic technology consultant, and he's got quite the business, and he's got lots of knowledge. And Joel has been a long-time business colleague of mine for many years, so I've gotten to know Joel very well. And I can actually honestly say, if anybody who does know Joel and has worked with him knows exactly where his knowledge and expertise is. And it is definitely in the online presence in this world of ours. So he's got a whole new concept to help us build our online presence for our, with everything that we're doing in today's world that's going to help us out. And I actually hope you enjoy today's event. And Joel, the show is yours.
Thank you, Sherry. It's a privilege to be with you on Zoom today. And everyone who has taken the time out of their day to be here, thank you very much. For the next 20 to 30 minutes or so, I'm going to share with you in some depth 3 key takeaways that I believe are important to business leaders navigating through these extraordinarily uncertain times. Then at the end, as a special bonus for being on the call today, you're going to get 3 gifts in addition to the valuable content I'll be sharing with you, valued at over $400. As the leader of a small business today, I don't have to tell you how important agility, confident decisions, and uncovering value are to your company's ability to survive and thrive over the next few years. All right, Sherry, you can flip slide 2, would be awesome, thank you. So today, I'm going to share with you 3 things that will help you do that. The first thing I'll share with you is how I went from a mess as an online marketer to a best-selling author on the topic, and I'll share with you what my turning point was. The second thing I'm going to share with you are 5 things you can do to gain trust online today. And the third thing I'm going to share with you are the 3 myths you may have been led to believe by others that are causing you to limit your ability to gain trust online. Okay, so let's start with my mess and how I turn things around. Toronto's been my home all my life. I grew up in a modest suburban home just in the North End. Mom and Dad had split up when I was 6 years old. That was really tough, and it took me some years to work through. I had trouble learning in school. It was a combination of attention deficit, and really I just wasn't interested in what they wanted to teach me. I was very impatient and full of drive, so at the age of 19, I started my first business, which was a local expedited courier company here in the Greater Toronto area. I worked hard and had some luck along the way, and over 24 years, I found great people and expanded into the US, into trucking, air freight, warehousing, and small package delivery across the country. Those were amazing years. I remember that one of the highlights was being honored by the Toronto Board of Trade as Company of the Year for Business Excellence. But when the internet originally hit my radar around the year 2000, my reaction was, meh. I guess I didn't understand it, and I really did not want to change. And unfortunately, that was my fatal mistake. 3.5 years into the Great Recession of 2007, and I realized technology had changed, I hadn't kept up, and the timing was right to sell. But because I was such a mess as an online marketer, I was determined to meet my mistake head on. The turning point for me was when I started to realize that I had to learn from innovators and experts who are playing at a much higher level online and thinking differently. So I invested a lot of time and money to learn from the folks that already figured it out. And because I did that, some amazing things started happening. In a relatively short period of time, I was helping hundreds of businesses to increase their prospecting effectiveness by several hundred and in some cases, several thousand%. And because of my experience using this stuff, I was able to write a best-selling book and help countless others to attract high-quality prospects to their businesses using proprietary marketing tools, methods, and disruptive technologies. Today, I spend the majority of my time educating and guiding business leaders through the foggy conditions that we're all trying to figure out how to adapt to. It's rewarding, I love what I do, and I'm grateful for the opportunity I have to give back at this stage of my life. So enough about me. For the rest of the time we have left, I'll share with you what I've learned about one of the fundamental keys to successful selling online, which is trust. Trust is more important than ever in today's uncertain world. To appreciate the significance, let's take a few minutes to unpack what trust actually is, because we generally see it as a combination of attributes like reliance, and in terms of marketing, it can sometimes be confused with the intention of building credibility. To hit the bullseye on trust marketing, we need to look at why it is so important. Okay, so trust has three fundamental traits. Sherry can flip the next one. Shown here is what's referred to as the trust triangle. As you'll see, there's three parts to the trust triangle: empathy, rigorous logic, and authenticity. When all three are on a display within an interaction in the real world, we move up on the trust spectrum in the minds of others, and they develop an intangible sense that they know you or your company to the degree they no longer associate you as unknown or a stranger, and then of course trust grows. When starting at a known factor of 0, Google's research suggests the buyer needs the following three things: 7 hours of interaction with you and your brand across 11 different touch points in 4 different locations in order to make a purchase decision and have the potential customer research you. This is known as the 0 moment of truth. You can Google it. Personally, I take this as a rule of thumb to work towards, as buyers begin with differing levels of preformed innate trust, and the nature of purchase decisions vary widely across and within industry verticals. Of the 3 components of the trust triangle, business leaders are most likely to wobble on empathy and authenticity. We can sometimes lean too heavily on the logic of what our product can solve for the user. Was there pain or problem that your service may alleviate for them, or the tangible gain that they may receive if all goes well and your customer uses your offering to its fullest potential? What makes logic less likely to negatively affect the trust factor is because it can be followed along cognitively and can be made to appear rational and rigorously thought through. But if your logic has a fundamental flaw, or if its believability is a stretch, you will lose the audience. You can use data to add credibility to the important trust points that your audience will naturally hone in on. Empathy and authenticity lean more towards an internal feeling, a sense, or an instinct. And logic is rarely effective at overcoming the absence of empathy and authenticity. Reason and logic are persuasive, but we are moved by emotion. Several studies conclude that up to 90% of the decisions we make are based on emotion, and we use logic to justify our actions to ourselves and to others. Empathy is all about understanding the position that your prospect is currently in and displaying that understanding in a skilled way. Questions are often much more effective than direct points because they allow the reader, listener, or viewer to ruminate on the question for a few seconds. And that you have asked a thoughtful and skilled question contributes to their appreciation of your understanding of their position. Authenticity is a tough one to nail down, though we all know when we do not sense it. So use trusted and skilled folks that know you to evaluate your marketing communications for authenticity. Okay, let's switch gears now a little bit and consider for a moment what your prospects are experiencing and how their conditions and coping abilities likely vary to a large degree. Generally, what are your prospects experiencing in their personal and professional lives right now? Well, most likely the same as you and I: anxiety, uncertainty, and maybe some degree of fear. The lockdown has amped us up to our innate drive for safety and security because fellow human beings can unknowingly make us ill or much worse. You probably observe this whenever you're in close proximity to another person. You avoid each other while walking in a park, on a sidewalk, or standing in a socially distanced lineup at a store or service provider of some sort. And what's the result? Well, as your body perceives stress, your adrenal glands make and release the hormone called cortisol into your bloodstream. Often called the stress hormone, cortisol causes an increase in your heart rate and blood pressure. As a result, we can intuit a higher threshold to reach trust online. Overlay the financial uncertainties of people and companies alike, and it's a recipe for paying keen attention to your company's ability to communicate consistently and effectively within the trust triangle. Make sure you have a pen and paper, because now I'm going to give you 5 things you can do to gain trust online today. The first thing, use video a lot. Now more than ever, the use of multisensory communication is critical online. The trend to view is not new or groundbreaking. However, there are innovative ways to make the medium far more effective than what we traditionally see on websites and on YouTube. Use the trust triangle as a guideline and evaluation tool for your videos. Number 2, communicate with lightheartedness. These times call for communications that are subtly uplifting, positively forward-looking, and do not remind the viewer, reader, or listener to be brought back to a state of concern and worry. I think we have passed the point of needing to reference the C-19 and financial conditions that are in our communications. If you can make it work, humor is the most effective tool to connect and lower stress levels in your audience. It's not easy to pull off, but when I have seen it used selectively and subtly, it is disarming, impactful, and endears your audience to you if delivered authentically and tastefully. Number 3, use your unique voice. The challenge I have seen with some small businesses is the tendency to overcome a lack of online credibility or familiarity with their company by using logical appeals, an impressive language, or narrative. A viewer of your website should be able to hear your tone and see, read, or hear displays of the trust triangle throughout. Another trap we sometimes fall into is wanting to tell the audience that we have those trust triangle traits in some way. Trust triangle traits. Say that 30 times quickly. Think creatively and display rather than say that you have those traits and tendencies. The phrase that I use to remind myself while developing content is, Joel, don't say it, display it. Number 4, teach them something new. Share with your prospects something they don't know that is relatable to their current problem or pain, or present something they already know, but from a different perspective that is new to them. This serves 3 purposes. Number 1, you educate the prospect related to your product solution. Number 2, you illustrate rigorous logic. And number 3, you make them feel good by learning something new. The net result of these 3 benefits is that it endears them to you and builds trust in your expertise of the subject matter. Number 5, share the why and what, but not the how. Educate your target consumer freely and generously with as much useful content as you can create, and plan your content for multi-purposing it across platforms. This will save you time and money while creating your content. Go deep into the why. These are the reasons and causes of your prospects' pain points and are an effective way to teach them something new or to remind them of something they know, but present it from a unique perspective. Going deep into the why is a way to display your empathy. You share with them the what. Share alternative ways to solve their most important problems, including ones that you do not offer for comparison. Be honest and spell out for them where you do really well, and acknowledge that there are other options if their priorities are not aligned with your key attributes. Now, why would anyone want to do this? Well, because the vast majority of customer complaints, returns, and service issues will likely come from clients that do not value the unique combination of benefits that you offer anyway. You spare yourself from attrition problems, and at the same time, display logic and build trust with your target prospects. Okay, now I'm going to share with you the 3 myths that I mentioned at the beginning. These are myths that you've been led to believe by others that are causing you to limit your ability to gain trust online. The first myth that you may have been led to believe by others is that testimonials establish trust. Well, to a certain extent they help, but really today people have read so many of them that they've lost a lot of the credibility. They've lost a lot of their validity. Who the heck is going to put up a negative testimonial on their website? It's useful to have testimonials on your site, but what people really want to read are reviews, and as many as you can possibly get. Reviews are a combination of star ratings and a comment, which is like a testimonial. However, unlike a testimonial, we see both positive and negative reviews. People want to see both good and not so good reviews about your business, so they can determine how you respond and resolve an unhappy customer. This builds mega trust more than just having only 5 stars, because it shows your potential customers you're only human and make mistakes at times, but are willing to rectify the situation. In fact, if you have a 1-star review that is resolved, that could increase your conversion rate by as much as 85%. So for those of you out there that have had a few negative reviews, don't lose any sleep about it, provided you respond to the client and show me that if you make a mistake, you'll help. That's going to help me decide whether to work with you versus a competitor that has only 5 stars that I can't gauge what's going to happen if I'm not happy. So you have to make sure that it's apparent that you follow up with your customers that leave reviews. The second myth that you may have been led to believe by others is that third-party review platforms are enough, like your Google My Business review page or Yelp. Google does very well with reviews, and many people trust Google reviews. However, when people look for reviews on Google, they can be redirected to your competition. How is that so? Well, for the first thing, when I type in your company name plus the word reviews, I'm going to see your website, hopefully, and a bunch of other sites as well. For example, I see Yelp. I click into Yelp to see your reviews, and then what do I see? I see your Yelp page with all of your competition advertising on your page, giving me other options. Same thing with Google to a degree. If you have a Google My Business page, scroll down to the very bottom, and in many cases, Google will also tell people what other people searched for. And these are directly your competitors. The same goes for Yelp, as I said. It's even worse because they'll charge you to remove your competitors' ads off your page. So again, you want the prospect's decision to be which products or services of yours I as a consumer should buy from you, not which company, including your competitors, should I choose to buy from. With most third-party review platforms, you're at risk for the prospect to choose somebody else. Okay, the third myth you may have been led to believe by others is that it's difficult to get reviews. In most cases, people believe that getting reviews is work. The problem is that most companies don't have a system in place. They're asking their customers at the end of a transaction, or not at all, to now do extra work for you. That's why on average, only about 2 to 4% of people actually leave a review if they're not prompted. When you use an effective system, they want to give you reviews. And here's what your system must address. It must be convenient, easy, and fast for the customer to leave a review. Most companies that do ask do so only at the end of the transaction. It must be introduced early in the sales cycle and again in the middle of the purchase process. And then at the end, after they've gone through the entire experience of doing business with you, but you have to be subtle. You want to infer along the way that leaving a review is part of the transaction process of doing business with you. And you must follow up at least once after the transaction. That might sound like a lot of work to you. The system that Sherry and I use is automated, easy to use, and gets results almost instantly. Okay, so I shared with you my mess and my turning point, the 5 things you can do to gain trust online, and the 3 myths you've been led to believe by others that are causing you to limit your ability to gain trust online. So I covered everything I promised. What I'd like to know now is how many of you learned at least one new thing that you didn't know before my talk, or how many of you were reminded of at least one new thing? Would you please either type yes or a line or two about what you've learned in the comment window on your screen? And we'll just wait a minute to see any of the comments. And go on. Thank you, Robert. Yes, the review process. Thank you, Olena. That's great. And if people could just continue putting in anything they learned. Thank you, Olga. Good insights. Wonderful. Fantastic. So, great. Great stuff. I'm glad you found today's overview of trust marketing useful. Thank you, Evelina. Thank you, Kevin. So, since we have some time left, Sherry, why don't we do a couple of things? The first thing we can do is maybe show you the review platform, show the people on the call today quickly what it looks like and how it would look on their website. And then what I'm going to do is tell everyone what your free gifts are. So how does that sound, Sherry? And maybe we can have a couple of Q&As in there as well. So of course, feel free to put a couple of questions in there, and I'd be more than happy to help you out. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at the dashboard of the review platform that both Sherry, myself, and a lot of my clients use. The review dashboard, the platform was built for you to control your reviews much better than what you currently have now, which is probably zero control. When you log into the dashboard, and we'll show you what it looks like from the front end in a moment, you're going to see the amount of traffic of people that actually looked at your reviews, not your website, but just the review portion of your website. And the reason this is important is because if somebody looks at your reviews on your website, generally the customer journey is the first place they're going to go is your website to check out your credibility, your info, are you a subject matter expert, and really, do I trust you? And if they do, now I want to know what other people think about you. But the problem is this, that most companies don't have an effective review platform integrated into their website. So what happens? They leave. And you never want that happening. So if I can see your reviews on your website, and reviews that I trust, I'm more likely to make the decision right there than after I go off your website and maybe get pulled into a third-party review site. Sherry, if you could click on the button there that says Envy. In the back of the platform, this is not just for reviews. We've overbuilt this platform so we can, oh, I think you've got to go back to the admin panel, Sherry. Yeah, click on Envy. That one, yes, correct. And it may ask you to log back in again. Scroll down a little. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take over here because we're still upgrading a new feature. So let me just take over here for a second. Okay, so here's my book website. We're going to be talking about this a little later. If we click on reviews, then the first thing we see it's scroll down to is a carousel of reviews. So that can be put on the homepage of your website, which is very important because it builds that trust factor. If I want to see more reviews, I just click on see more reviews. And now we can actually see reviews that people have left on my site, for my book, for my services. And of course, I've responded to some of them here. It's really wonderful to be able to see your clients leaving reviews directly on your site and getting notified about it right away. This is also important because then you can respond to your potential customers that may be happy or may be unhappy. And that way you can build your trust with your potential clients. So let me just log in here. Okay, let's go back to Envy here. Here we go. So what we see here is multiple ways that you can reach out to your customer. You can send a review request now by text right to their phone. If you're sending reviews by email, then only 62% of the people you're sending an email to are actually opening their email. I believe it's about 96 to 98% of people will open a text on their phone within the first 2 to 3 minutes. So if you got a text review request, that's much easier than having to go into an email, logging in, going into your Google. It instantly comes up on your website. So when you send a review request, you can send a review request by, let me just click here. We send review request. And we can send it by email or text. We can send multiple texts. We can determine what the message is. And when it's sent out, you know when the person's received it. So that's wonderful because that'll save so much time, and then it instantly goes on your website once the review is left. If you happen to have a Google My Business page, we will also pull in those Google reviews right into your website so people don't have to leave. But wait, there's more. So not only can you do review requests, you can also send out some text marketing to all of your clients. Maybe you have a special today. As long as you have their phone number, we can send out text marketing campaigns. We can build in all these templates, and you can control the marketing. The same, similar thing, but person will get it by text, their appointment. All they do is confirm or say needs rescheduling, and you'll know right away. The last thing that this platform does is also surveys. You can see this is appointment reminder here. Sorry, as I scroll down, you can see confirm, reschedule, monthly reporting. And of course, the last thing are surveys and questionnaires. So if any of you are paying for any survey type platforms, you don't have to anymore because we include all of this in the platform. And we'll even help you set it up on your website. You can create your own surveys. There's many, many, many things that you can do with this platform in addition to your reviews. This will help you. It's kind of like a little mini marketing engine that you have in addition to reviews. Now I'm just going to go back here. And by the way, the reviews that you get, if someone does leave you a negative review and they're not a real customer, you just send us a quick email. We'll delete it out for you. But it's very, very important to remember best practices for reviews. If a customer leaves you a negative review, never delete that review. And the reason is that if I'm unhappy, the first place I'm going to go is to you to get my resolve. And if you delete my review, now you've made me an enemy. It's very well known that people will go to third-party review sites anonymously and put in negative reviews about you and your brand. So be very, very careful. You want to turn an unhappy customer into a raving fan. So this is right now all about the review platform. If we go into Sherry's, we can see, oh, just give me a second here. Are we on your website, Sherry? I can't tell. I can't hear you. Let me just share that screen then again. So now on your site, and we click on reviews, and I scroll down, we can not only see the reviews that your customers put in here directly, but we can also see the reviews from Google. So we've connected this to Google. So now people don't need to leave your website to go to Google and see more credible reviews if they don't believe the reviews on your site. And that's the presentation in terms of the platform and the reviews. Now I'm going to tell you what the gifts we have today. So Sherry, if you wouldn't mind putting up the next slide. Okay, stop here. So there are 3 things that I said, and I got a special offer that I just came up with this morning for everyone on the call. So the first thing that you'll get is 2 months to try this platform out for free. That's a $200 value. And I will be in contact with you if you decide to sign up as well, to make sure that you understand how the platform works and to use it the most strategically. To get your review platform for 2 months, just go to signup.winningonlinebook.com, which is this website. However, the signup.winningonlinebook.com is going to take you to a separate page. On that page, you'll see something completely different called Verview, which is short for verified review. And once you fill out your information, everything in there, it will send you a link. So you'll be able to see what it looks like just like that. It will be modified slightly for your website. And also you'll be informed as to when your first charge will be, which will be 60 days from the date that you sign up. Make sure when you go in there and you're entering all the information, you put in the code P, as in Papa, 124. Or P as in Pierce, as in Sherry Pierce, 124. We'll also be sending you an email out with all the links to today's gifts as well. The second thing you're going to get, if you want to go to the next slide, Sherry, thank you, is to get another gift, which is a document that we created, the 5 things that every website needs to attract new customers. For that, just go directly to my website, which is winningonlinebook.com. There's 3 big buttons there, and just click on the one where you can download the document. That has a value of about $200 as well, and that's free for you. Just fill out your information, and it'll download the document. And the third thing you're going to get from me today is to be able to contact me. Ask a question, sign up, get more marketing tactics and strategies. Just go to the same website, winningonlinebook.com. At the very top, you'll see a button that says Contact Me. Fill out your information, and I'll even answer your most burning marketing question, and we can set up a quick call. Now, I'm also going to do something special that we kind of thought about this morning. Some of you would like to know how to start your online reputation in terms of improving your online reputation. That always starts with your website. What does it look like? Is it built properly? So normally, my team will do a website audit, which has a value of about $600. And then we do a strategy call after. That's another hour call where we'll give you a next step strategy and give you actionable tips that you can implement on your site instantly. The value of that strategy call is also just under $600. For today, we're going to offer both, and that strategy call will be with me, both for $197. If you go to my site and you click on offers, again, winningonlinebook.com, I put in a special offer just for today, and I'll be offering that till midnight only. But we'll be sending you out another email with all of the offers and specials, so feel free to reach back out. And I'm glad that I was able to speak to all of you today. So right now, we have a little bit of time for some Q&As if there are any here. Sherry, is that, we still have a little time here?
Yes, we have lots of time for Q&A.
Lots of time.
Lots of time.
Great. Wonderful. So any questions about maybe online marketing, about reviews, if anyone's had any issues on either side, whether as a business or whether as a customer, and it wasn't resolved, or you had an issue and you're not sure how to deal with that currently?
Joel, just to note that there's
Yes.
been lots of chat going on and everyone's
I'm
thanking
looking
you
now.
for a job well done. And I see people have
Wonderful.
also purchased your book.
Yes, thank you very much for your support. You know, just a quick on the book. You know, when I got into this business and I was really, really green behind the ears, you could actually see moss coming off the top. And I really had a no clue of really what online marketing was. And through meeting with these people and learning from top people, after about 4 or 5 years, people started saying to me, Joel, you should write a book. I said, no, I'm not writing a book. That's a lot of work. You know, I'm building a new business. You know, one person says something, you take it, you listen to it, you discard it. And then I started getting this on a regular basis. People were saying, Joel, you need to write a book because I've learned so much about what you were saying today. And my passion really is helping business owners understand the journey of where you are today to where you need to go tomorrow to get to that next level. And that's something myself and my team has figured out. So after many, many times of people bugging me, write a book, I decided to write a book in the fall of 2018. I launched it in 2019 on Amazon. It hit #1 in 6 categories in less than 72 hours after I launched it. And I realized at that point that I had touched on a topic that the majority of business owners really don't have a clue in terms of online marketing, what platforms they should be using, and they're spending a lot of money and time doing the wrong things. Really, how could we know? We're supposed to build our business, not necessarily understand how to do digital marketing. So writing the book and understanding the path that I had been through, that a lot of business owners go through, I wrote the book for the business owner to at least give them an understanding of what needs to be done in your business to take it to the next level. So that's the story of my book. Of course, you can purchase it off my site or go to Amazon. It's a little less expensive from Amazon just because they can even do it cheaper than me. So that's pretty much it. I don't see any questions here. And we're closing into 45 minutes. Adding testimonials from your site. Someone said that they have a using Weebly and buy the review element. In fact, we charge nothing to install it, and it can be installed on any website, whether it's Weebly, Square, WordPress, whatever site you're on, Wix, Shopify, we can add it to the site, and it'll definitely also help with your organic visibility. So last statistic I'll leave you with is that when you're ranking in search engines, one of the biggest things Google looks at for local search is reviews. It's the 3rd largest factor that Google looks at from a local standpoint. And if you have reviews in your website, Google understands this. And if all things are equal, here is you with your reviews integrated into your site, and here's your competitor without reviews, and everything's equal, you will actually rank a little better than them. Because Google understands that everybody is looking for reviews. In fact, over 90% of people look for reviews before buying any products or service.
And I can honestly say too, having the product myself, and it's been on my website for a few years now, it has increased the traffic to my website as well as my business itself. And it does show the progress as you start using the platform. And it's so worth the time and the effort to work at it. And I enjoy it. It saves me a lot of time. And I hope if all the business owners here, if anything, Joe's offering 2 months free. Hey, jump to it, because you know something, it's a great opportunity, and you'll see results.
It will actually also help you to control your reviews better. Remember, I showed you, if we do, one last example that will really hit this home is that if I go to Google and I type in, for example, what most people type in, SDP Communications Reviews. Now here's a problem that most people don't even realize that you have. So when I click in SDP Communications Reviews, I see Sherry's Google My Business page. This is the actual review platform here, ranking #1. This is the platform connected to her site. So it's actually outranking everybody. So when I come to search for you, if I start my search this way, I'm going to click on #1. And of course, that's going to bring me right in to the review platform. Now, it doesn't always appear #1 on your search page, but it helps to give you some real estate there when people are searching, because as I scroll down here, Glassdoor, Better Business Bureau, Sherry's site isn't even here. Her Facebook page is up, but her website isn't even here. It's because all these third-party review platforms are dominating that search. And these are bigger platforms. So at least this gives you a chance of showing up even if your website doesn't. And if your website does, great. Now you have 2 spots on the first page when people search your reviews. Obviously, if I just put in SDB Communications, we're going to see her website up here as well. But most people will put in the word review with that. Very important that you're able to cover that. And that's it.
Oh, I'd like to say something about your book, Joel. I read Joel's book and I knew nothing about online sales and marketing. And I do have a website which needs to be changed, as Joel tells me, and he's right. But I want to say that the book is like a story. It's written like a little novel. And at each chapter, he teaches someone who's in business that he needs to have a website, and he goes through the steps, literally teaching you what it's all about. And if you think you know a lot about it, then some of it will be fun to read, but you will always learn something. And at the end of every chapter, he makes the points about these are the lessons. I really suggest, if you haven't read that book, it's a great read anyway. Yes.
Thanks, Lorraine. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. That's so wonderful.
I have to agree with Lorraine, 100%.
Thank you very, very, very much. And thank you, Evelina, as well. Evelina is also one of my connections and colleagues, and she's also in digital marketing herself. So to be complimented by someone else in the field, especially in this industry, is an honor. So thank you as well, Evelina. Okay.
Great.
Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, Sherry.
Oh, no, go ahead, Joel. I was just going to ask the same question.
I'm done. I'm done. If anyone wants more, feel free to reach out to me because I've got a lot. So.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Joel, for coming on today and giving your presentation. I'm quite sure we all learned a lot today. I know I certainly have. And it's always good to have a refresher about a few things as well. And I hope everyone has a chance to go to Joel's website and look at his offerings and take advantage of the review platform. I do apologize. My pup was bothering me there for a minute. So anyhow,
yeah, dealing with our furry family during these times. You know, I'm lucky my cat didn't jump across my lap today. She usually likes to get in on the picture because she's pretty, she likes the attention. So we're all good today.
Perfect. Okay, well, if nobody has any other questions, we are good to go for the day. And I thank everyone for tuning in today and actually this whole week. It's been a fabulous week, lots of information. I know I was overloaded these last few days, so it's all good. And we're going to be doing this again in January. So hopefully you can join us again in January. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Joel. It's always a pleasure.
Pleasure to everybody. Have a great week, what's left of it, and a wonderful weekend. Take care. Be safe and healthy.